Welcome to the Cookbook, where we invite guests on to share the ingredients of what has helped make them the successes that they are. All of it, the good, the not so good. You're not going to find anything half-baked here. And our kitchen gets messy sometimes. That's when the fun starts. So come on and join us. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cookbook. I'm your host, Iris Goldfeder, and I am super excited about my guest today. Oh my God, she's like so freaking awesome. Her name is Barrie Cohen, and she is a PR extraordinaire. And she's a lot of fun. I'm just going to throw that out there. Like, even before we got on here, we've just been, bullshitting and laughing for like the last 5 minutes. So, Barrie's going to tell you all about herself. So I'm going to say hey to everybody. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, do all the things, download. So now, without further ado, here's Barrie.
Hi. That's quite an intro. Loved it.
I mean, I don't know how to do lousy intro. At the end of the day, it's like all of my guests are amazing or they wouldn't be on.
Exactly.
Right? Because I can't talk to boring people. That's like boring.
No, who has time for that?
Come on. No.
Short.
I know. We were just talking about short, but that's another story.
Story for another day. See, we're already veering off track. We'll get back though.
We don't need to. And it's funny because I know the last few episodes have probably been not really serious, but more, like topical. And I think this one's going to go, I'm just letting everybody know right now, this is going to go all over the place. So get ready because we're going to talk about PR. We're going to talk about like just, a whole bunch of different things. So I'm pretty excited. So, all right. So tell us about Barrie.
Yeah. Wow. That's a loaded question. Do you want to know like all of my life or just my career life?
No, yeah, that's true. I forgot. I was talking to you, right?
I'd be here for like 10 hours, and now my parents, and then we moved here. Like, do we need to know?
How did you become an entrepreneur? How's that?
Perfect. Okay. I'll take that. So I started in PR with a family friend. That was really like my first foray into the industry. Didn't know anything about it. Worked for 2 PR agencies in Philly. I'm from the East Coast originally, so that's where I started. And
never tell. I'm sorry.
No, right? The energy, not giving East Coast energy vibes at all, right? And I worked for somebody and had a terrible boss experience, which I think so many of us have probably had across industries. Literally woke up one day and quit my job after 3 months and was like, I'm out. If somebody can do this job, I can also do it well and be nice and have the clients that I wanted and do the work in a way that I wanted to. And so being super green in PR, I was only really like 2.5, 3 years into the industry and then starting a business, literally zero experience, no idea, no plans, no nothing, was like, I'm going to start a business. And my first clients were my dad's 2 best friends. And I started to do PR for anybody that would like give me a shot for no money, for little money, like anything I could do. I would cold email people and I was like, this is what I do. Even though deep down I'm like Googling, how do I do this? Because I don't even know how to do this. Like,
and now you can just go to ChatGPT and they'll tell you exactly how to do it.
Exactly. And so it just sort of took off organically because I just wanted to learn and I was really excited to have the experience to do it on my own. And then at the time, my now husband and I decided to move to Colorado. And that was before Zoom or remote work was popular. And so I lost all my business in Philly because I wasn't physically there anymore. And so I then had to rebuild in a place that was really foreign to me. I didn't know anybody here and business is done remarkably different, and across the country, It's so different, but I was so used to a fast-paced East Coast mentality where Colorado is definitely more relational and slow paced and really getting to know people. And so I had to shift my mindset of like what this was going to look like. And it was many days like going to Target every day because I had nothing else to do of like, what do I do? Like, how do I build this business back? That was still a baby and really forming.
Yeah.
And I would go back and forth trying to get my clients back and then trying to integrate into the community here. And then COVID happened. And unlike other PR businesses who really started to hurt, especially being in like hospitality and tourism, we were in the healthcare space. That's where I got my start. And so it was actually an unintentional smart move on my part of like, okay, you're in an industry that everybody needs right now. And so the business actually took off. And it was a really weird moment because I expected to shutter it like everybody else was struggling. And I was like, okay, we'll rebuild again. I've already done this once. And so it took off and we started to get more clients. And then I moved back to the East Coast to Charleston for a year for an adventure and then came back to Colorado. And so the business has moved, but over that time as it's grown, it's turned into something I think that I never intended it to be. I thought it would always just be me and I would do this work and have a few clients, but it really took off. And so then I had to bring on a team. We started taking clients in other industries globally as well. So it really has transformed from a one-woman operation to like a full-blown company now that that I'm excited and proud to say like 8 years later, it's still successful and growing. So it's been this unexpected kind of pinch me journey. Like I think back and I'm like, how did we even get here? I didn't even want to be here. And like then being in this space, like how grateful I am that I get to be.
I love that you say I get to be, because so many people like, like I have to do this. And I have a whole thing up here that says, I love that I get to help people, that I get to do this, because, it's like it's that mindset shift. When we get to do something, we want to do it, right? If we have to do it, we're like, oh my God, I have to do this.
And I think that's the beauty of entrepreneurship, right? Because I think when I worked for other people, it was often like those were their clients. So I couldn't choose. And, sometimes we just don't click, or I wasn't passionate about what they were offering or the industry. And so I really wanted to focus on that and like work with amazing people who were doing amazing things, changing lives, impacting their communities, so that I could feel like my work was purposeful. Because I think PR and even marketing, like it can be transactional in a lot of ways because there's work that has to get done. But I think the way in which you do it and the clients and the people that you interact with, you can make it so that like, I really do feel like I'm helping people. It's on a different level than other industries, but like I get to give people a voice so that maybe there's one person watching who like needs them, right? Or is listening to them. So I think there's something really amazing that I get to do that. And I want to, like, I really love this industry. And I love that this is what I get to do every day. Like, how fun. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that that's the cool thing, because like you said, when you're working for somebody, you don't have a choice. You have to do this, right? And for me, it's like and this is going to sound terrible, and I've said it before, if I don't like somebody, if I don't care about them, I don't give a shit if they succeed. And if I don't give a shit if they succeed, I can't help them, which is terrible, right? But if I don't, and I know this sounds terrible, I keep saying it, but it's like, if I'm not invested in you, then I can't help you grow your business. Because then I really, to me, it's like, and I only work with people that, I want to see succeed.
Right.
And my wife is like, that's awful. And I'm like, but it's not, because I know it sounds terrible, but when I'll know within 5 minutes if I'm going to work with somebody. And they know within 5 minutes if they want to work with me. Right. So it's like a two-way street. And the people that I am, that are my clients, are, each one of them is as amazing as the next. They're all doing incredible things. Even, my one guy is like, he does pest management, but, it's not like extermination. It's literally pest management. Like, they have microscopes on their truck that, can identify the kind of ant that it is by the different, the different like breaks in their body. It's crazy shit, right? And he talks about it like, he gets so excited, and I'm like, you crack me up, because I just love watching him get excited. And he went from one tech 2.5 years ago when we started working together. He's hiring his 5th tech.
That's amazing. But see, I don't disagree with you. Like, you have to be passionate and you have to like your clients. Like, I think in the beginning, when you're first starting out, and I did this, like, we all take on people,
we take whoever we have to,
our gut, and we're like, this is we don't love this. And I feel it. And I'm like, I am going to literally hate myself after this, but it's like, I'm broke and I need to I want to learn and like, let me do it. I love a challenge, right? Like, I feel like that was my mindset. And now I'm like, God, I just want lovely people who are doing amazing work, who I just think that connection and that personal relationship that you have with your clients, that I think for so long people are like, that's, you shouldn't, and all these things. But I think it makes you do the job better. Like I want to be invested. That's the only way I can tell your story to the right people. And it comes through. Like if I'm just going through the motions and it's just, whatever, like I'm not into it, it's reflected. You can tell like in 2 seconds when someone's disinterested. And so I never wanted to be in that place. Like I always wanted to get to the point, which I'm grateful I am, that like, I can say I might not be the best fit. And maybe that's because I'm just not into it. Like we had a tech client once.
I'm just not that into you.
Yeah. Like I'm breaking up with you before we even started. I'm not, it's me. It's not you, it's me.
Oh my God.
And like they were an amazing client and had a great business, but the tech stuff, I was like, oh my God, I literally feel like this is a foreign language that I can't grasp and I don't like it. And so I'm like, I just wasn't like invested, and it made it so hard for me to do the work. And frankly, I probably didn't understand half of it. Truly, my brain was just like, I don't even understand what's going on. But I think that's really important, when you're in any business, like, I don't know. I want to love what I do. You don't always love what you do, but like you want to be able to help people that are really doing amazing work, and getting to choose that, I think, is a really amazing place to be.
Yes. And I think that, like you said, I mean, it was funny because when I first started, I had this one client that I knew was not going to be a good fit. Like I knew, but we needed the money, right? So I took her on. And because she was from another country, I wanted to help her as much as I could. So I did a lot of pro bono stuff. And what I do now is if I do something and I discount it, and I usually don't discount stuff, I just want to throw that out there. But if I'm going to do something pro bono or whatever, I'll send an invoice with the amount, and then, the zeroed out, so that they actually see the value of what they're getting. But I didn't know about that back then. So I just, did whatever. And the kicker for me was we designed business cards for her. And then I delivered her business cards and she was like, thanks. And I went, that's $200. And she said, well, no, you said that you were doing them for free. And I went, no. I said I would do the design for free. You have to pay for the cards. I had to pay for the cards. I'm not buying your cards. Yeah. So we went back and forth, and then a whole bunch of other stuff came out. So I sent her this really long email that I had to filter through my wife 4 times. I should send it to you. Like I should.
I would love to read. I would love to read that. I've definitely been there.
Right. And it was like, I've done this for you. I've done this for you. I've done this for you. You have no sense of boundaries. Like she would text me at 9-10 o'clock on a Saturday night with shit that had nothing to do with anything, like an adjustment on the website wasn't even built yet. Right. And I'm like, you have like zero sense of boundaries. And what I realize is from working with one of my new clients who's, European, there is a big difference between our customer service and European customer service or Korean customer service or Japanese, whatever it is, right? North American customer service is way different than anything. And then because of that, people expect.
Yep.
So I, nip that in the bud. And yes, how lucky are we that now we can choose and we don't have to deal with that crap anymore.
Well, but I think there's also so much work that happens behind the scenes that people don't see. And so I love that, like, you were invoicing, whether or not you charged her, right? But like, at least you're showing, because I think there's so much, like, I think in PR marketing, people think things just happen, right? Like, it just happens. Like, you just wave a magic wand, it just happens. Things, you're viral, you're famous, you're on here, like, there's so much back end work. Like, when I tell people the amount of emails I have to send to the right people, or even to get to the right people in order for someone to respond to my email.
Right.
And sometimes we screw up and like, it's not the right person. So then we have to go again, like just to get movement. I think that's the thing, like the behind the scenes of like all the work you have to put into.
They don't get it.
You don't know unless you're in the industry. And so I think it's important to understand that and like to give people a look into that. And so for me, that was always like part of the process when I was talking to new clients or even current or previous clients. Like, I want to walk you through how this works. Cause like, I never saw that when I worked for other people. It was like, cool, this is what we're going to do. And we're going to do X, like deliver X, Y, and Z and blah, blah, blah. Right. And so, but there was no like inner workings of how it gets done. And I was like, wow, there's like a chunk missing. One, I'm just curious because I want to know for my own self. But I think a lot of people don't know PR and marketing, right? And so they don't really know the steps. So I've always been like, okay, I'm going to walk you through it. And like, you're going to have access to certain things and you're going to see in every step of the way, like, this is how we do this then. And this is how we do this. And I think you need that, like no matter what industry, but I think then it gives you an insight to be like, oh, holy shit, they're doing a lot of stuff. Like just to get to the point of like that beautiful end result of an interview or whatever it looks like there's a lot that happens and a lot that we don't even tell our client, like we just manage because we know how to do that work.
And I, to your point, right? Like I do the same thing. So, we're designing a logo for a client and, people think, oh, you just do it. And I'm like, no. So we're going to meet with our designer. We're going to have a call with the designer. She's going to get information from you. And then she's going to create a mood board. And then from that mood board, we're going to go to, and they were like, oh shit, I thought you just draw something. Like, no, but you're right. When you walk people, and I think that that's one of the things is that people don't get the value of what we do because they don't understand the process. And even after explaining the process, they're still like, well, you're building a website or, you're filming a commercial. If we're filming a local commercial, my videographer has like lights and then the little filtery things and like all the stuff that goes with it. I don't know what it's called, but like all of the things that have to be done. Right. And then he'll have me, which I feel really special. I'll put like little headphones on and I'll be looking at the thing and he takes pictures of me. So I look like I'm actually doing it, which I'm not. But I get it, right? I can look at it and be like, oh, so I understand what he is looking at. And then the client is like, oh, wow, I thought that this was just staying in front of a commercial and talking. And it's like, no, there's setup.
There's setup.
Right? There's the what the hell is it? Not the script, but the the little board. I can't think of the name of it. But
I can't either.
I know, right? And this is what you do, but it's like the storyboard. No, the storyboard. So you have to write out, right? So here's the 30-second commercial. So-and-so is going to walk into the frame, then so-and-so is going to do this. And but like everything is like, written out. It's not just like you're doing a commercial like, hi, I'm Iris and I'm the founder and CEO of Gas Stove Creative. And no, because you have 30 seconds. Yeah. And so there's like a lot. And I love the fact that you talk about that process because, and even, I mean, Barrie, let's face it, even when we do explain the process, they still don't get it. So,
we're going to have to do it 10 times, which is like par for the course, right? Like, and you know what? Listen, you and I were good at it. Like, I could talk all day, so I'm fine. We need to go through it a million times. That's great. And I want you to, because I don't ever want someone to feel like they're not getting value and they don't understand. But I think too, like, it's really important for people who are going down this route to differentiate, and I'm not going to say good or bad, but like, you're going to talk to multiple people. And again, I'm not always the fit, but like there are certain things to look out for. And especially like if someone's going to walk you through this or there's a plan or a strategy, like I have seen PR where you're just throwing things at the wall and hoping it sticks. And that is not.
And you can't do that. No.
You're taking people's money and it's not cheap. And like, it's an investment and there has to be a strategy in place. We can't just like hope and pray that everything goes well and that's it. Like, so I think there are certain things too to think about. Like it sounds shiny and exciting when you're like, I want to do marketing and PR, but like there are actually questions and things you need to be looking out for if you're going to go down that route, because not everybody is created equal when it comes to the services they're offering. And you might not need it, right? Like I think that happens too, where clients are like, someone told me I needed this, or like, I think I need this. And My job, I feel like a lot of times is to be like, okay, but I don't think you do. Like, I have no problem I'm going to be the honest one. Like, it happens a lot where I have people who are like, I want to be in Forbes and I want to be on these big things. And I'm like, cool. I don't think that's the best thing. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, well, like you're in a certain industry. What about trade publications? And you just see their faces and they're like, oh, because it sounds so unsexy to be in a trade publication versus Forbes. But like, what if the people you need, and I'm pretty sure the people you need are going to be reading those and not Forbes. And so we're going to get you in front of the people to move your business in whatever way. And so I think there's certain conversations that have to be had and things for clients to look out for when they're going down this route of finding a professional too. That's loaded. That was like a lot of information too. I'm like,
but it's true. It's like, for me, they want market. So we're all in one marketing solutions, right? So we do all of it, and some people want all of it. And it's like, whoa, you don't need all of it. Right. And they're like, what do you mean? And it's like, do you need a website? Yes. Do you need SEO? 100%. Do you need video? Not right now. Maybe let's get the website done. Let's get the SEO started. Then we'll do video. Right. But they want to do everything like all at once. We also do, trade show setups, and we do vehicle wraps and all that other crap, right? So like we are literally all-in-one marketing solutions. And I was just talking to a client last week who's like, well, I want this, and then I want my vehicle wrap, and then I want this, and I want this. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I have a $50,000 budget. I'm like, that's great. You don't have to spend it all at once.
Yeah.
And he just looked at me and he went, you don't want my money? And I was like, of course I want your money, but I want your money when it's right. Not just because, you want to do the thing. You don't need to do the thing right now. So I said, let's do this. Let's lay out a plan. Because for me, I'm big on roadmaps. Like, you're here, you want to get here. So let's build the roadmap. So there are phases and there are steps. So you don't go from A right to Z. Yeah. You go A, B, C, D, E, F, and you get to it that way. And so many people are like amazed because they're like, wow, I came here expecting something. I said, you came here expecting me to say, great, let's do all the things. Give me your 50 grand and we'll go. And that's not how I play.
No. And I think it's really great that you tell, like, we have to be the ones.
We do, because no one else is going to tell them. And then there are the agencies out there that will be like, great, I'll take your 50 grand.
And oftentimes I get a call 6 months or a year after that. And they're like, I spent all this money and nothing happened. And I'm like,
yep.
I'm not surprised. And listen, there are amazing PR professionals. Like there are almost everybody I know is incredible. And there's always a few bad apples, right? And I think there's just things
in anything, right? Yeah.
Yeah. There's just a few things you have to look out for. And I think you really have to think about what you want out of it. I think that's a question, and I think like clients don't think about, like, you're going to do PR and what is the goal? And like, is anybody asking you this? Like, I always ask, like, what are your goals with this? Like, I'm going to put you in front of people. What do you want to get out of it? Do you want leads? Okay. So that's going to look a little different with a strategy. Do you just want to position yourself as a subject matter expert? Okay. That's going to look a little bit different. Are you trying to get referral sources? Are you just trying to promote a specific service or book? Or like, it's all going to be very personalized to you. But I think you really have to think about that. And it's sort of this like soul searching journey for a client of like, what do I really want? Because when when PR and marketing works, it works. Like, it's going to work. Yeah. But we need to make it work for you. And it needs to fit in with what you want. And are you ready? Like, that's also a question I ask, because it happens often where people are like, I want to do PR. And I'm like, okay, but you don't have a website. You need market. Like, you need some things beforehand. But also, are you ready? Like, do you have the infrastructure in place? Like, I'm going to do this. And the goal is like, people are going to find you. And you might get calls and you might get referrals. And do we have like all the channels in place so that you can monitor that, so that you can like respond to people effectively? Or is there somebody getting this information so we know where it's coming from? Like, there's all of these other things. And so it's like so multi-layered, I think, when we talk about PR and marketing. But I think these are things to think about, because again, it's not just like, hey, here's money. Good luck. I'll talk to you in 6 months. It's like, no, we're a partnership. Like that's how I view it. It's like, we're going to do this together. You're going to have autonomy in choices that we make. I'm never going to say this is how it's done and that's it. Like if you are like, I hate being on a podcast, I never want to do it. I'll be like, great. I might push your boundaries and be like, just try one for me because I think you'll be great.
You just need to meet Iris and you'll be all good.
Fine. Or like people like, I don't want to be on TV. Okay, we don't need to start with that. There's other avenues. But like maybe we'll get there. But I just think you got to think about all these things because it's not just a like, let's go. There's got to be plans in place for how it fits in. And like people are busy and they have schedules and they have other things in their lives too. So like it has to also fit within your lifestyle and your business.
Right. Yeah. It's so
multi-layered, right? Like there's so many things going on. I don't think you realize. Like I think that's the thing. I just want people to know that I don't just pick up the phone and we get you in Fortune magazine tomorrow. Like
that's not going to happen. Yeah.
And like that might not even be the first thing that that might be a thing that happens 6 months in.
Right.
Like there's all these other things, right? So I just think you have to think about like when you're doing these things, it's an investment and it's investment in your time and financially and it works, but like you've got to understand like the process. It goes back to that whole discussion of process.
Yeah. And if you can help them understand, the process, they kind of cool their boots a little bit, right? Because they're hot off the press. They want to go. They just want to go. They want to be in the magazine. They want to do the thing. They want to blah, 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 blah. And it's like, whoa, slow down. Everything has to be done in steps because if it's not done in steps, it's going to be a mess.
And I'm organized. Like I'm a highly organized, like organization. I got the Post-it notes and the calendars and like I am that person. So that translates to like, we need to be organized. We're not just going to like do the thing. Like we've got to do this in a way that makes sense that like we've got all of our pieces put together.
Yeah. And you can't just throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. There's so many people that do that. And I'm like, why? So I have this like great, is like going to be terrible, but everybody's like, this is going to be the worst illustration anybody on this podcast has ever seen. I'm just going to throw it out there. But
I love that you're doing that. I'm horrible at drawing. So
I'm not drawing. I'm literally like making a shit ton of dots. You'll see. So, okay. So
I have zero artistic skill. So I'm like, this is amazing.
So here's, can you see it there? Where's my, whatever. Well, okay. There's the wide net, right? So that's just throwing your money at whatever.
Yeah.
But when you actually go like this, probably should use a different color. Now you're targeting people. Yeah. And that's what you need to do. You can't do this because that's literally taking money and, going, okay, let's just light it on fire. Yeah. I mean, that's basically what you're doing. But when you target, when you hit that target market, that's the gold. And that's what I tell my clients because oh my God, we have like a couple of local TV stations here. There's radio. There's like a whole bunch of stuff, right? And this is nationally too. I have clients that are like, well, I want to do this and I want to do this and I want to do this. And I'm like, no, you're just taking your money and using it. It makes me nuts. I'm like, if that's what you want to do, then I'm not your person because I'm not going to do that. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I'm not going to do that because I will go insane. We need to, if we're going to do a TV spot for you, and you have, because if it's not local, they usually have it recorded. Yeah. If we're going to place it for you and I'm going to do media buying for you, we're going to do it where it makes sense. We're not just going to throw it here and throw it here because you think that that's what's going to hit. You need to get in front of your audience. So that's why I tell people do streaming. Right? Streaming, you get exactly to who you want to. We do local also, but for me, the streaming thing is gold because it gets right in front of the person who's looking for what you're selling. But to have that conversation stick,
well, you
sometimes
have to.
It's just like, whew.
Yeah, but I don't know if anybody's ever asked them that. That's what I find. It's like I talk about target audiences all the time, and someone's like, everybody. I'm like, no, let's look. No,
right.
We can't be everything to
everybody who wants to buy this. No, you don't, because not everybody wants to freaking buy it.
No. And like, you can't be everything to everyone, and that's okay.
Right.
Like, let's talk about it, because there's probably more audiences and more specific ones than you even thought about. And then like, let's meet them where they're at.
Thank you. Oh my God. Go to my website. I literally say we meet you where you are.
We have to, because it's like, okay, you want divorce.
Are you going to Charleston?
I'm not.
Why?
Because I'm traveling a ton.
Go to Charleston.
I'm close, like trotting PR extraordinaire. Come on.
Go to Charleston. Oh, well, you're killing me. Okay.
You come out here. We should just like.
I mean, I do, but the altitude kicks my ass.
I don't blame you. I don't.
That's why I'm saying come to Charleston. I'll buy you dinner. I'll buy you drinks all day.
We'll be drunk planning a retreat in like an hour. It'll be. We've already planned it, guys.
It's like, okay, where are you in first class? I'm in first class. Okay, what are we doing here?
Oh my God. We don't know what the retreat's about, but anyway. So I think
squirrel. Go ahead.
Yeah. But I think there's something to be said about that, because like I think about certain audiences, right? And like, you have to be cognizant of what they're listening to, what they're watching, what they're reading, demographics of age and all these things that
like psychographics, right? Yes, demographic, psychographic, geographic. It's like all of those.
And like people don't think about that. And so when you say this product or this service is for everybody, it's like, okay, but do you have a brick and mortar? Is it in a location? If you don't, like, where are your clients coming from? Right. Are they, divorced moms in their 40s? Okay, that's like a very specific group. Where, like, what are they doing? What are they listening to? Like, so we have to look at all these things again, so we're not just throwing things at the wall. So there is a plan so that you're actually getting in front of the people who matter, who you can make a difference, who will buy your product,
who are looking for you and what it is that
you.
Yes.
And I think it's just, I think that's the fun part for me, because I love the strategy. So like really looking at that and like doing the market research and doing the deep dive.
Me too. Yeah.
Right. Because then you get to be the expert in that. I'm like, I now get to be a doctor. I've always wanted to be one.
Yes. And now, I know more about coaching and well drilling and, design and I mean, and bugs. I mean, he'll send me like a spider. I'm like, don't send me that shit. He's like, but you need to see the spider. But we become not experts, but we become well-versed in that field because of everything that we're doing. And I love that, because I love knowing all these things.
I love it. I could never have done medicine. I don't like blood. I'll leave that to my husband. He's an amazing doctor. I'll let him do that. But I'm like, I get to learn all these new treatments and I'm like, this is amazing. And I get to learn about skincare and then holistic wellness. And then we do finance. So now I am terrible at numbers, but now I have an education on finance and like all these things that I think that's also the beauty of being in these industries, is like, you get exposed to so many different people from all walks of life. And that's what makes it so fun. Like on any given day, you get to talk to everybody. I remember when I first started out, I got one of those contact form emails, and you're always like a little skeptical. And I was like, there's no way this is real. And it was from somebody, at a sex expo. And I was like, this is spam. There's no way. And then I got an email and I was like, you know what, Barrie, like, this is fun. Let's just see. And it literally was like a sexual health expo, sex toy thing. And I was like, oh my God. And nothing ever happened, but I was like, how cool. I was like, I'm open. This is great. I'm going to learn a whole industry I know nothing about, and like sexual wellness. Cool. That sounds wonderful. Like, you just get these, like, it's just amazing. You get to know people in such different industries that I never would have thought of, that I think is so cool. And it's like, that's what lights me up. It's like, I get to learn so much. And you probably know more about bugs than you ever wanted to know, but now you could practically, you're like a scientist at this point.
My wife sent me a picture of this giant ass beetle last week. And I'm like, why are you sending me this? And she's like, I don't know. It's on the driveway. Can I kill it? Is it like a spiritual thing, or am I going to screw something up? Because, I'm woo. So she's like, is it a spiritual thing? Like, is it going to bite me? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, I'm not Jeremy, I'm like, send it to Jeremy. So I sent it to Jeremy, and, he's like, it's just a big black beetle. So I'm like, okay. So she comes home and I'm home, and she's like, I think I ran it over. And I was like, okay. So I go outside, and it's not, and it's big. And I'm like, yeah, you need to not come in my garage. So I took a dustpan, and I scooped it very gently so that I wouldn't, hurt it. And I moved it to not my neighbor's yard, but, to the yard. And because it's on the grass, and I just,
oh my God, I love it.
Go be free. I'm not going to squish it, like if it's going to kill me, then it's going to die. If it's me or it's going to die. But if it's just a big beetle that's living its life, but the fact that she sent it to me and she thinks that I know it, it's like,
you are now the in-house bug expert. You've gotten that title. I find myself like with my husband, like who is a doctor and knows medical things. And then I'll just like chime in when people are asking him questions. And I'm like, oh my God, like you don't know this. You're just like
not qualified to say.
You're not qualified. But I'm like, oh, I read that when I was researching this for a client. I'm like, you need to get in your lane, Barrie. Like, this is not.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
You. But like, that's the fun part. Like, we get to know so many people in so many different industries. And I'm like, that's what I love, is that I get to do that, like to choose that and to have the opportunity to, because it doesn't always happen when you work for somebody else, or if you're like very specific on the types of clients. So I think it's cool that you get to kind of have your hand in everything.
So, okay. So this is like a good segue, because I try to ask this question in every episode. So what advice would you give to somebody who's thinking about becoming an entrepreneur in any field, like not just, PR, but like, I know you're like, oh shit, but like, if because a lot of people listening, are either entrepreneurs, they're thinking about becoming entrepreneurs, they're new entrepreneurs, but for someone who's thinking about it, because I think that this is my favorite question, because I get 1,000,001 different answers. And I think that the people listening need to hear whatever is being said. So
I think, and I often talk about this, like for young entrepreneurs, because I think there's a lot of younger people who are going down that path. And I think at any age, but I have always been of the belief of like, say yes to everything and then figure it out after. I think we put a lot of weight on like, we're not an expert yet, or we don't know enough. And so we're hesitant to say yes to certain clients or to do certain work because we feel like we're not qualified. And so I think there's been a lot of moments in my journey where I had opportunities and I said yes to them, and taking a leap, knowing that I could do the work and figure it out. I wasn't ever misleading or lying about my credentials, but I was like, you know what? You want to do a press conference? Sure. And then I'd literally be like, how do I do one of those? Or I'd call somebody I know. But I took these leaps and it afforded me really big opportunities that I don't think I ever would have had I been like, I'm not ready yet. And you're never going to be. And so I think you say yes to these things and you figure it out. If you know the basics of your skill set, there's so much information out there today, and you'll design it and morph it into what you want it to be. But I always say like, say yes and figure it out after, because I think you will miss opportunities if you don't.
That's awesome. And now, like, you can literally say to ChatGPT, I like chat. I know other people use, whatever, but you can look. What did I ask? I asked something last week because I was trying to figure out a cadence of something. And I asked my chat, because my chat is completely programmed to me, my voice. It knows my business. It knows, what I do. And if I ask for like certain things that I'm kind of stuck on, freaking helps me. And I was like, hey, I'm looking for a cadence for XYZ. Yep. And I call her Cara, because she has to be a female, because she's kind of organized. Anyway, so, but I'm like, hey, Cara, I'm looking for a cadence for XYZ. and it's like, hey, Iris, and they'll be like, here's the no bullshit, blah, 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 because, I have a train to not do bullshit. And like it popped it out. And I was like, oh my God, that's it. Because I was so stuck because when you're so close to something, I think after a while, you just can't see the forest through the trees. So it's like, I'm stuck on this, what cadence am I missing here? And it just like spit it out. And I was like, oh my God, bless you. And then I was able to do the thing and, make it make sense. And I think the tools we have now they're amazing. But I am going to say, don't use AI as a crutch.
No. I agree. I think YouTube is great too, though. I'm a big fan. Like, I think too, reaching out to other people in the industry and like just asking to have a conversation. Like I have done that throughout my career and early on. And now I mentor young people in the industry. And so I think there's a lot of that that's like really scary and weird and you feel really vulnerable, but you can learn so much. Like I do it now to other people in PR who've done this longer than me because I just want to absorb the information. And so I think you just have to be willing and like eager. But like you said, there's so much out there. And I agree, AI is amazing, but there are skills you need to learn also on your own. We can't rely on that entirely. But I think you can say yes to a lot of things and you'll figure it out. Like you will. I mean, I had to basically teach myself PR after I left working for other people. I knew a very little, like I knew the basics, but I had to teach myself the nuances. And I did. I talked to other people I knew in the industry. I read books. I watched YouTube. Like I did what I could. And then I've made it into my own and what works for me. But I think had I maybe thought about it, like had I actually had opportunities and like sat down and thought about it before I like impulsively was like, yes, I'll do this. And then get off a phone and be like, Barrie, holy shit, you don't even know what you're talking about. Like, you don't know how to do this. Like, I think if I actually thought hard enough, I probably wouldn't have said yes. But I think those were the moments that were like really defining when I started my business and being an entrepreneur. And I think they still are. I think I say yes to a lot of things that I know I'm capable of.
Yeah. And it's funny because we're all in one marketing, I try to be careful on the things that I say yes on, because I can say yes to pretty much everything, but I also don't want to do everything, because there's so much in marketing, right? There's like, the promotional items. If you're not a client of mine, I am not doing promotional items for you. That is a pain in the ass. If you're a client of mine and you have a business expo coming up or something, I'll do that for you. You need a trade show set up, I'll do that for you. But, if people are just calling up and they're like, hey, I heard you do that. No, because it's a lot of work, right? It's like going through the design and blah, 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 like all of that. And I think that, for me, it's just been like this like a learning curve on what I'm going to say no to, because I used to say yes to everything. And I just, it's like, I can't anymore, because, we do X amount of clients per month. So for web, SEO, video, whatever it is. And we have a thing in our contract that, especially for a website, we're agreeing to do the website within 4 to 6 weeks if you get us everything by this date. If you don't get us the content, the pictures, the copy, the whatever, if we're doing the copy for you, that's, another story. But if you don't get us everything and we give them like 2 to 3 weeks by this date, now you're moving into the next month. And if you want it in this month because you're in a rush, then you're paying a premium, because we can't, we just can't, right? It's like, it's so much. And we have like one client that it's 7 months and we're still not done because we're still waiting for stuff. And it's like, it's not fair. It's not fair to us. It's not fair to, I work with all contractors. It's not fair to the contractors, and it's not fair to the client, because they're, out there like, well, where's my thing? Well, where is your thing? So it's like, so I put a cap on stuff. And at first people were like, oh, well, I don't know if I want to do that. Then you're not the right client.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and I think
you can't tell me you're going to get me your stuff. Seriously?
Right. And you figure that out, I think, right? Like in your entrepreneurial journey, like
100%.
Not everything is going to light you up. And so like people have asked me forever, do you do social media? Nope. I don't want any part of it. I barely want to do it for myself. I have zero desire. There's nothing about it. Yes. No, it's the truth. Like we have other people who do that because they enjoy that. And so I think that's again to like, you don't have to be everything to everyone. And like, I think in the beginning, it's sort of experimenting. Like, do you enjoy that piece? Or are you just like, oh, I have to do this again. Like, I don't want to post stuff. Okay. So maybe that's like not the area you want to be in. Right. And so like, I agree. You have to be mindful of your time and like what you say yes to. And I think early on in your journey, though, you have that flexibility to sort of try things and like see what gets you excited. Like for me, it was always doing like the media relations work. Like I love pitching. It is so much fun. I know other PR people who are like, I would rather never do that work ever again. Cool. Like we all have our strengths. And so you kind of have to find that along the way of like what excites you in the work and then focus on those things. And like, there are other people and there are great partners and other people who like can do the other work you don't want to do. Like we don't do websites. We don't do any of that marketing stuff. We have other people that I'm like, hey, Iris, you want to do that? Like, take it, please. I don't do that. I am not good at that. Like make that website beautiful and amazing and then come back to me and like, we'll do the PR stuff. So I think there's also a lot of opportunity to like build really strong networks too with like,
100%. Yes.
Well, I could talk about like 10 hours about networking and all the beautiful things like that's involved with that.
But like, why you should come to Charleston. Sorry.
I
know.
Everyone in the comments is going to be like, you just go to Charleston. We're all now coming to Charleston. There's going to be like a Charleston fan club that happens. See, now I'm like manifesting. Now we have a fan club and group. See, that's all happening.
There it is. It's done. It's like done. Yeah. So okay. So who is your ideal client?
Oh my goodness. Definitely. I mean, we're open industry wise, but love healthcare. We love finance. We've worked in nonprofits too. So those are like three big categories. I think for me though, it's really a few things. I think anyone who's really passionate about what they do. Everybody has a story to tell. I think when you're deep in your business, you don't see it. And so that's the beauty of having somebody like me on your team is that we can pull those things out. But I think somebody who's passionate, but also is open and willing to share their story. That's a very vulnerable place to be. And you have to want to be in a space where you want to be in the public, whatever that looks like. And so I think you have to understand that and like, I'll say come to terms, but feel comfortable doing that because that's not for everybody. And maybe you just want to write articles and not be the face, and that's okay. So you have to sort of determine like at what level and what feels good to you. And you have to want to do this together. It's time consuming. There's a lot of work in it, and we're going to do this as a partnership. We're going to walk this journey together. And so you have to have the space and time to do that and be in a position in your business where you can financially make the investment, but also time and space to make the investment. Because we're going to get to know each other a lot. We're going to talk a whole lot, which is what I want. But that might take away from time of your business. So you have to feel like you're in a place where that feels good to you. And so I think those big things, I mean, that's across industries and across, income, and it could be an individual or a company. Like we've done a little bit of everything. We do a little bit of everything. So we're open, but just someone who is open to the journey because it does, it evolves and it changes and it's something we do together. We're very much like involved in our clients' lives and their businesses beyond just the PR because everything's interconnected. And so I think you have to want to be in a space in your business that you're ready and take the leap. I think that's the thing I see the most is like, I've been doing this work and now I want people to know about it.
Yeah. I love that. And it's funny because not that it's funny. I always say it's funny. I don't know why I say it's funny, but I think that especially with PR, because I know enough about PR to, sound somewhat, intelligent, because marketing is my jam. Right. So But when I, work with somebody with marketing, it's almost, it's not as intense as PR, but it is still, you know, we need to get to know them. We need to get to know their business. They need to be willing to sit down and meet. For us, it's like we have a monthly meeting for, we're going to look at your ROI. We're going to look at what's working. We're going to look at what's not working, what we need to tweak. And sometimes they're like, I don't have an hour. It's like, you need to make that hour. If you want to Zoom, I'll Zoom. Fine. If it's local, but you need to make that hour because you need to know what's working. Like, I can't just sit here and be like, oh, okay, I don't think this is working without your input. Mm-hmm. Right? Because then, I'm just guessing at that point.
Yeah. And you need to know what's not working. Like, there needs to be this transparency. I think that's also really critical, is like, I want you to know what we're working on. I'm going to tell you too, like, we're going to meet regularly and I'm going to be like, shit, we thought this would work. It's not working. So we're going to pivot. This is what we're going to do instead. Right. Like, you have to know, like, right, we have to have those conversations, and I want you to be involved, and I want somebody to be like, hey, Barrie, like, I listened to Iris's podcast. I love it. Any chance we could get on there? All right, let me investigate. Sure, that's a goal of yours. Like, let's talk about it. Let's see if that's the right fit. Let me do some digging and seeing if that's what makes sense. So, like, that's why. And we also, like, again, tracking and all the ROI and all that stuff. But I think it makes the reward of it so wonderful. And when you see it working in whatever, measurements we're looking for, I think that's what's also so interesting. Cause then you have, like, onus in it, and you're invested in it, as opposed to just like sending me off on my way to do the work. Like, you're seeing it and you're like, oh my God, it's like the light bulb moment of like, this is how this works. This is why this works. Okay. Like, now I see it. And then it builds that trust. And so I think and then it becomes this long-term relationship, which I think is, then develops into this amazing thing.
That's the goal, though, at that point, right? Because it's all...
It is. It's all about relationships. And it's beyond, like, I am involved in my clients' businesses in ways that are different than PR. Like, they tell me all the facets because, like, I need to know. But then I know their families and their personal lives. And, like, we have dinner. Like, I have a client who's flying in tonight. We're getting drinks. Like, it becomes, like, more of a family, and of, like, we spend time together. And that makes me do my job better. Just like you, right? Like, then we're talking about things. I'm like, oh my God, yes, that's a light bulb for me. Can we use that? Great. Okay. We're going to, like, change some things up. So I think too, like, it becomes this bigger thing that is also so amazing. And when you have that mentality, it, like, really shifts things, I think.
Yes. And I have a client in Denver, and whenever I come to Fun Friends, we always meet for drinks and stuff like that. But, I think that, like you said, for me, it's very relationship based. It's not transactional. And I start every relationship with that. It's like, this is a partnership. Mm-hmm. I am going to get to know you. I am, I'm going to know your kids' birthdays. I'm probably going to send them a present, or like a reminder, or something, whatever. Right. But this isn't, it can't be transactional, because if it's just about the money, then the personal goes away. And I need it to be personal, like, for me personally, but for also the client, because when it becomes personal, then you know what, they're comfortable to be like, hey, you fucked this up. Yeah. I need to know that. Or your team fucked this up. Thank you. Yes. Because if I don't know it's broken, I can't fix it. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you how many times I've had people, like, something got messed up and they didn't say anything, and I didn't catch it right away. Right. And then I caught it and I was like, oh shit. And then I called them and I'm like, why didn't you say it? Well, I didn't want to upset you. You need to upset me. I need to know this because you're paying me to do something. Yeah. So if there's something, and yeah. So I think the whole relationship based works just so much better, because now, and I won't say it's like family, because a lot of families don't get along. So I kind of pivot that, and I just say, it's a partnership, and it's a relationship. And, we try to make everybody feel like part of the community. and held, and it's important that, like I have a client today, they were waiting for, blog posts that I thought were sent last week because everything runs like clockwork usually. They weren't sent. So I got a boxer saying, hey, and I was like, oh, fuck. Like they should never have to message me for that. And so I was like, and of course I handled it, but it still doesn't mean that someone's not going to get upset. Of course they're going to get upset, right? But, you have that relationship where you can say, hey, we screwed that up. Sorry.
Yeah. And I think you have to go into your business that way too. Like, I think if you are starting as an entrepreneur and you're meeting people and people can tell when it's transactional. I can tell right away when I meet somebody and they're like, what are you going to give me? And I'm like, whoa, I'm out. This doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right. And so I think too, like going into it with relationships in mind, like I always, even if it's just networking, not even meeting clients, it's like, I just want to get to know you. Tell me about you. We'll get to the work stuff eventually, but like I genuinely care and want to know you. And it's usually from those relationships that then I get referrals and people are like, Barrie's wonderful. Iris is great. I would recommend them. So I think it's also like that mindset shift of like, yes, the end goal is we want to make money. We want more clients. That's like what, we have businesses to run. But like, if you go into it with that mindset, like not today. I mean, I get turned off immediately. I am like, no fun, no nothing. I just sit there and I'm like, God, am I done? Like, sucks. I can do 1,000 other things right now. Like, come on, you don't want to like know me or ask a question.
Filing my nails, well,
God, right? You're like, this is brutal, and like you feel it.
Yeah.
So I think also just going into it that way, and just want I want the relationships. It's important to me, and that's why people recommend.
And the clients know that. Like they can tell.
They can tell right away.
Oh, 100%, right?
Sales, like all the salesy stuff. That's like right away.
Don't even bother. Don't
like,
even.
Now.
So I was on vacation. So I signed a client last Friday, and it's a funny story because we were on vacation, and something happened, and my head was just like kind of messed up, and so I just started looking at my work email. And something came through from the website, and with this client, and who's now become a friend. Like she came to my gig this weekend. So and she was having, she was a friend of mine referred me to her, and then her husband, because they were looking for a marketing agency, sends her a text and goes, "Hey, what about this person?" And it was me. So it was just like this like kismet thing. But then while I was on vacation, she was having an issue. And I said, oh, I'll just help you right now. Let's hop on a call. So I hopped on the call because, I was like, I can help and whatever. So I helped her. And then we made a plan to meet, on Friday. And we met Friday. We had lunch. We felt like we knew each other for years. And they signed on. And it was like, okay, this is going to be amazing because now I get to make you a lot of money. And I don't work with startups, but they're a startup, but they have capital. Yeah. And I told her, I said, even if you because I don't work with startups, but for her, it was like, even if you didn't have the money, I would have helped.
Because you can just feel it, right? Like,
yes,
when it clicks, that you're just like, this is my person. These are my people. And like, God, I just want to help them. Like, let me just get my hand, like, let me do it. Cause I know I can. And like, I just want to so badly.
Yeah. Yeah. And when they showed up to the show, it was funny because I met them once.
I love it.
And it's like second set and I'm looking and I'm like, oh shit, it is you guys, like right in the middle of the set, and they're like, hi. And I was like, so
I love it. That's amazing.
But it was just like a really cool, and that's what I try to do with all my clients, right? Like, just build that relationship just like you. Okay. So, and Piper apparently has something to say. Where do people find you? I mean, it's going to be in the show notes, but.
Sure. So they can find me on our website, bcpublicrelations.com. You can find me on LinkedIn too. I'm very responsive on LinkedIn or by email, just Barrie@barriecohen.com. I'm always happy to chat. Again, even if I'm not the fit, like, let's just talk about PR. Let's talk about what it is, how it can help. Maybe it's not the right thing. Like, I'm just happy to have conversations so that people understand it a bit more.
Awesome. And of course, we're at an hour already, which is insane because
that was easy. That felt like a minute. Let's keep
going. It's like, I know we could, and they'll listen. I mean, they're awesome. Like my audience is like so
amazing.
I can't tell you how many times we go over like an hour, and I'm like, thank you for hanging out an hour plus, because they do. They're, I have an amazing audience, so I'm very grateful for all of them. So thank you for taking time out of your day. I know this is fun, but still, I know you're busy. So
no, thank you. This was wonderful. I always love chatting about PR or anything else. We'll probably put out a second episode about our retreat at some point. So tune in, because now we started that. We're going down this rabbit hole now.
We just manifested it. It just, here we go. Like, here's my giant, woo, we just manifested. So, so the last question that I ask all my guests is, what lights your fire? She's like, ooh.
What's so funny is my business coach asked me this yesterday too, because we were having a deep soul conversation. Because as an entrepreneur, we have these like many times, like every other day. Like, do we want to do this or burn this down or whatever? It's usually how it goes. I think what really lights me up is giving people an opportunity to share their voice who might not otherwise have it. I think that's really, I've seen it work. I've seen people who are doing amazing things. And there's a lot of people in this world who have platforms who aren't creating change, and they seem to be the loudest voices in the room. And there's a lot of people that have something to say that don't get to it. And so I think it's really, I'm really grateful and feel really blessed that people give me that opportunity.
I love that. I love you. You're so awesome.
I love you. I'm like, now I'm going to cry on your podcast.
It's not like it hasn't happened before. So hang on. I'm going to say goodbye. Then I'm going to come right back. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out, an hour plus again. I hope that you think that Barrie is as amazing as I do. I mean, I know you do, because if you don't, then we have to have another conversation. But, thank you again. I just love all of my guests, but when I have somebody like Barrie on, we're both East Coast and we got that thing going. I hope that you felt that energy. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, download, review, give us a review of this episode. If there's any little golden nuggets that you've gotten out of it, let us know in the comments. And thank you for letting me do this. I know I say this every episode, but I truly mean it. I'm so grateful that you all listen so that I can continue to do this. Because this is truly my passion project. So thank you all. And until next time, go out and find what lights your fire. See ya.